Hey, it's me, Vicky, Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Right, hang on. Yeah, okay. So, sorry, I sound like I'm sort of out of it. I am out of it. Gosh, it is so hot. It's still so hot. I was umming and ahhing whether to come on live, but I wanted to, I haven't been doing evening lives, have I, through the summer. But I wanted to talk about Sebastian Rogers. We haven't talked about him for so long because, well, there just hasn't been any updates. And this case, of course, of poor Sebastian, who was 15 when he went missing, is now 16. He's high functioning autistic. He just literally disappeared into thin air from his home in Tennessee. And, the whole case just has descended into a circus, really. There's all these arguments between the parents and different YouTubers, horrible YouTubers, just really clickbaiting arguments between each other, and taking sides. You've got like Seth Rogers, his biological dad's side, or are you on Katie and Chris's Proudfoot, so that's his biological mum and his stepdad? People go into either of those two camps. I'm not in either of those two camps. I'm in Sebastian's camp. That's all. And I really wish, that they would all get together and build bridges, and work together. But it's never going to happen. And what we're going to look at today is I'm going to react to a live that Seth did on his YouTube channel, because Seth Rogers, he has his own YouTube channel. Let me put the picture of him up. Let me move. Yeah, this is Seth. And he quite often goes on his YouTube channel, doesn't he, and sort of holds forth. And, my heart, I do feel for Seth, but, there's just, my problem with Seth is some of the things he says about Katie and Chris, which may be true for all I know, but I don't think it's helpful to finding Sebastian. And the other thing, I don't like that phony Tony that he's got involved with his so-called sort of media guru, who's just been rubbish. But he doesn't seem to have been involved in this particular video. What I did like about this video is it is just Seth talking about what updates, which is basically not really many updates. But then, through the video, he does again start to criticize Katie, and Chris is criticizing the police. I don't think it's helpful. That's all I would say. But anyway, we'll talk about that when we come to it. So yeah, hot. Just about half an hour ago, the temperature on my computer was 39 degrees. It's now a very cool 36 degrees because it's just going dark here. So it's starting to cool down a little touch. But I just don't like it. I want it to be over with. I think we've got more heat coming. A heat wave. It's been cooler the last couple of days because we've had a bit of a breeze. There is no breeze at the moment. I mopped my bathroom floor earlier and it's not drying because it's still as wet as it was when I first mopped it, because there is no air, there is no breeze. I mean, it's just awful. It really is. Anyway, it's the same every year. I should get used to it, really. But July is just the worst month, in my opinion. Where are we? 15th. Oh, we're halfway through it. Because in August, it will start to get a little bit cooler at night, at least. The nights are awful. It's suffocating. And yesterday, in the market near where I live, a lady collapsed in the heat and died. I mean, that's how bad it is. I mean, I don't know if she had some sort of heart condition or health condition, but they literally are saying if you do have any problems with your health, you shouldn't even go out. That's how bad it is. This is heat for the young people. It's not for me. I don't think I even liked it when I was young, to be honest. Not this hot. I've always liked the sun, but this is. Yeah, I remember going to Magaluf when I was about 19. When I was about 19 on an 18 to 30s holiday in August. It was horrible. Didn't like that holiday at all. Didn't like the 18 to 30 crap. I didn't like, even though I was only 19, didn't like the heat, didn't like all the people, so that was a disastrous holiday. But anyway, I learned from that. Never go on a 19 to 30 holiday. Well, I can't, I'm too old now anyway. I'm going on the saga holidays now. But, it depends if that's your thing, relentless fun, whether you want to have fun or not. That's how it was. It was like, you will have fun. You will join in the balloon party on the beach. And if you didn't want to, it was like, there was something wrong with you. Oh, God, it was awful. So anyway, no 18 to 30 party, no more 18 to 30 holidays for me. Not in this lifetime, maybe in the next one, and maybe I'll enjoy it more in the next one. The friend that I went with, she loved it, and that's where we fell out a little bit because of that, because she probably thought I was boring, which I'm not boring, and I wasn't boring, but 18 to 30 is just not for me. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to watch Seth's video, listen to what he's got to say. We're going to give our opinions in a nice, polite way. I'm sort of torn with Seth. I'm glad that Tony's not any phony Tony Maroney. I'm glad he's not any part of this video. Seth would be better off, in my opinion, without Tony. Seth, it's natural for people to sympathise with him as the father of a missing child. Don't need someone like Tony irritating everybody, in my opinion. So I felt when I watched this video, I felt more sympathetic towards Seth than I have done for a long time, because I did feel, although I don't like the way he slags off Katie and Chris and the police, of course, I do feel he was heartfelt in this video. Must be so difficult because it's been well over a year now. Doesn't feel very positive, does it, for finding Sebastian safe and well? But just finding him, I think, would be a result at the moment, wouldn't it? It's going to end up like Summer Wells and no answers. Now, I don't like to say it's become a cold case, because I'm sure the police are still working on it, but I don't know how they're and not only Seth, but Katie and Chris, I don't know. It must just be awful not having any answers. If you haven't done anything, which I don't think any of them have done anything to Sebastian. I think whatever happened to Sebastian is not to do with the parents, but again, that's just my opinion. I don't know for certain. So thank you. First of all, just my thank yous. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you. Special thanks for being members, sending Ko-fis, super chats, etc. Thank you for emails. I'm so sorry I've not answered any of my emails, I think, for 2 days now. I've got a bit overwhelmed with the emails, and it's just too hot. And today, really, I've felt poorly today. with the heat. So I'll start to feel a bit better now. It's getting cooler. When I say cooler, 36 degrees, but it's still cooler than earlier when it was 39 degrees. I mean, it's like you don't even want to eat or anything really, just drink tea. So I'm drinking black tea at the moment. It's just, nothing seems to work. So, yeah, thank you to everyone. And let me take the banner off now. Where is the banner? So, hi, lovely lurkers. Hi, replay crew. Hi, loathsome lurkers. And now I'm going to say hello to those of you in the chat, brave enough to go into the chat. Thank you for participating in the chat. Thank you so much. Hi, Angel. No, unfortunately, Angel, it's not cooler. It's horrible. Just makes you feel horrible. And of course, the dogs don't know what to do with themselves, bless them. So just before, my little Rocky came and he brought me his red ball to throw for him. And I think I threw it twice and then he just goes plop on the floor. It's too much, and he's the one with the most energy out of all the dogs. Just one little burst of energy and that's it. It's too much, just too much. Oh, I don't know. I don't know about coconut water, Angel. I don't think I've ever seen it for sale here anyway. Hi, Julie. Yes, the infernal heat has returned in Madrid also. Oh, my God. Dear me. I don't know. It wasn't your husband going to be doing some sort of a course without aircon or something? I hope he's okay. Where would I get it? What's I always say electrolytes during the Spanish summers. What would I get electrolytes from? Hi, David. Hi, Lily. Yeah, the thing is as well, in this heat, your tummy really feels, it's like everything upsets your tummy. It's just too hot, I think. It's horrible. You always feel sort of, a little bit, so. Okay, so let's see what Seth had to say now. I don't know how we'll be respectful to Seth. I'm trying. My heart is heavy about Sebastian because we've covered Sebastian's case. You remember in the early days, there's like a fervor about it, wasn't it? It was one of those cases that grabbed everyone's attention. Everybody was talking about it. And of course, in the beginning, Seth, he was on all these YouTube channels, which wasn't a good idea, I don't think. But I think it's a better idea that he's got his own YouTube channel, to be honest. Better for him to just be on his own, saying his own thing on his own channel and speaking from the heart. And I don't think he needs Tony or anybody else really, except maybe to stop him from saying some of the things he does say in this video. But I don't think Tony didn't really stop him. Some of the things Seth says, really, I think if Katie and Chris were different, they could probably sue him. Maybe they already have. But anyway, let's have a listen, see what occurs. Might put my headphones on, actually.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you for everybody who just came in. I appreciate there's been a there.
Yeah, I'll have to stop it every now and again. I don't know if he'd have me for copyright, Seth. I hope not. I would appeal against it as fair play, fair use, but you know, it's his channel. Maybe he will. Sorry, I'm just trying to plug in my headphones and I can't see. I can't see, so I'll just put my torch on a minute. Couldn't see where the hole was. Hang on. Right, that should be my headphone plugged in now. Let's play it.
Echo.
Yep, that's fine. I can hear him now. So, yeah, David, Tony, and Erin, the Mushroom King and Queen. Stephen Stearns, he's another mushroom, isn't he? But mushroom. So his trial's coming up. We'll be covering that, won't we? There's a lot of speculation as to whether Jen will take the stand. So that's another case that's very splitting of opinion, isn't it? You know, but this one, it's about where is this boy? Because they've searched for him. They have looked for him. You know, and if he'd had an accident, surely they would have found him by now. Or has there been some foul play? That, to me, I think he's either run away and you know, something's happened, an accident or something, or somebody's taken him. Maybe someone closer. When I say close to home, I don't mean Katie or Chris. I don't think that any of the parents have anything to do with it, but maybe there's somebody else that the police have got their eye on. You can only hope that they're still. Yeah, I agree, David. I think the answer's in the neighbourhood. I do. But I don't think it's Katie and Chris. I just don't. But I could be wrong. You know, I don't know. You know, at the end of the day, nobody knows. But I do think maybe it's wrong of Seth to throw out these accusations. Because if they're not true, and he has no evidence to say that true, as far as I know, it's terrible, isn't it?
Okay, I think the echo is gone. I see everybody in here. No, the echo was on my end. I had too many windows open. It's been a minute since I've done a live, so just pretty much.
Yeah, Seth's about as technical as I am, but too many windows open. But it has been a long time since he's done a live now. I haven't followed all the craziness, you know, people suing each other and YouTubers saying this, that, and the other. I just cannot get into that at all because I just think it's horrible. But of course, lots of YouTubers have, you know, some YouTubers that, you know, used to do other things and now suddenly they've joined these hate channels and it's just bullying, gossip, spite, horrible. So I've tried to stay away from that completely. And just concentrate on facts, but there haven't been many facts lately, have there? So, yes, Seth hasn't done a live for ages. Oh, it'd be interesting. I wonder if why Tony isn't. Tony normally gets involved, doesn't he? So it's interesting.
Trying to remember everything I'm supposed to be doing. Do want you to know that there has been activity behind the scenes. We're, you know, stuff coming in from at night, people wanting to sit there and do some pretty stupid shit, in my opinion. Threatening my son.
Did he say framing my son? Let me just say that.
Everything I'm supposed to be doing. Do want you to know that there has been activity behind the scenes. We're, you know, stuff coming in from at night, people wanting to sit there and do some pretty stupid shit, in my opinion. Threatening my son, whether it's a host or not, it's just not right.
Framing my son, I don't know anything about that. I don't know what that's about at all.
But kind of been really busy. Been really busy tracking down stuff. Tracking down leads that are coming in, dealing with the FBI. I've been dealing with a lot of other law enforcement agency groups. It's a lot to be on your shoulders. You know, every day you wake up and it's like, I'm tired. I'm tired. But the whole point of it is that I don't know what's going on with my son. So I continue on. Whatever happens to happen. I just know I got to keep going until I find him. Don't like to tell people where some of these are coming from, but we've had people call into the tip line. Just got done dealing with one in Arizona. Been dealing with a couple in Virginia. You know, life isn't what you think when your kid goes.
No, I'm glad there's still tips coming in. I mean, it's, they need to, because I expect they've had so many tips that were totally, ridiculous, but they've got to follow up every tip, haven't they? But, I think more tips is better than no tips at all, because when tips stop coming in, that's like when it's going cold, isn't it? It's like people are forgetting. I think a lot of people have turned off the Sebastian Rogers case because of all the drama and all the horrible things going on behind the scenes. And that's not good, not only Sebastian's case, all missing people. The only attention they get is what the family give them, really, because the police can't the police will say that it's not a cold case, but, at the end of the day, they've got loads of missing kids in Tennessee. It's incredible. So, the police can only do so much. So it is up to the family to keep their missing loved ones in the public eye, isn't it? And, that's just the way it is. There's only so many resources. So I'm glad that there are tips still coming in, better than no tips, I think.
Listen, try to keep a positive outlook. And every time I turn around, there's just people out there. It's hard to find anything that's enjoyable.
Oh.
This is going on. But I keep myself busy between work, running down.
Oh, he says he's working, because they're all speculating about that. Was he working? Had he been back to work? He's saying he keeps himself busy in between work. Is he still working at he's in law enforcement, isn't he? Doesn't he work at a prison or something? And it will be hard, to find enjoyment in anything, because, to be fair, Seth is alone, isn't he? For Katie and Chris, they've got each other for a start. They've also got Chris's daughter Faye to sort of, they've got to do fun things for her, I suppose, things, they've got to make her life as normal as possible, because that is a half brother who is missing. Whereas Seth, he does come over as very solitary, doesn't it? But of course, we don't know what he does in between time. Maybe he's not solitary at all. I don't know. His parents seem to have moved off the scene as well, or they're not, speaking out like they used to be. You can't help but feel sorry for Seth. My only problem, as I say, with Seth is the things. I don't think he's been helpful in the way he talks about Katie and Chris, etc.
Tips. Then they're trying to make sure, everything's going well. Then I get reports, of a couple other people, what they're doing. The fact that my son's own mother doesn't seem to care.
Yeah, see, these are the sort of things that I don't think he should be saying on his YouTube channel. My son's own mother doesn't seem to care. What do you think about that? Doesn't seem like a fair thing to say, does it?
What happened to him?
Seem like a fair thing to say, does it?
What happened to him? The day that I find Sebastian and he actually sees this stuff that's gone over, I hope he understands that I'm doing everything I can. Doing everything I can to find him. Trying to do everything I can to make sure nobody forgets him, because I never will.
No, obviously, no, he won't forget him. And I don't think people have forgotten Sebastian. I think people really cared about what would happen to Sebastian because he's vulnerable, with his autism, etc., his little sort of cute face. And, people do care, about missing children and missing people and all the things we talk about. It's because people do care. And I'm sure people haven't forgotten about Sebastian, but of course he'll never, that's his son and his only son. This is what I mean. So he hasn't got any other distractions, has he, Seth, apart from work, I suppose? Or, I don't know if he's got a partner or what, but.
People still, I need help. I need people to still please continue to hand out the flyers. That's the reason that we continue to get tips. Even if they don't pan out, I don't find my son, still keeps the hope up. It really does. I mean, it's the only thing that I have right now.
Yeah.
Is the hope that I find him. That's all I really care about. Finding my son. It's just sometimes there's not enough time in the day to get everything done that's needed to be done. And sometimes there's too much time. It's never ending.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of.
Yeah, you can see that it would be like that. There'd be days where he's got so much to do and, feeling positive, getting tips or whatever. And then there'll be other days where it'll feel like endless. They'll just feel like endless and he'll give up hope. I think I need to do a sort of an update, if you like, on Jack O'Sullivan as well, because I think about his mum a lot. Again, that's gone over a year. He's gone through a birthday, no news, just no idea what's happened to her son. How do you get up in the morning and put one foot in front of the other?
Kind of start putting everything into perspective, and it's like taking my truck in for a service on an oil change, and I'm like, dang, I'm supposed to get an oil change every 5,000 miles, and it's already been 5,000 miles, and another 5,000 miles, and another 5,000 miles, and the next thing you know, you've done put 20,000 miles on your vehicle, and you're like, didn't realize I'd been on the road that much. Didn't realize that tracking down tips takes so much. And it really, so besides the fact that that's my son, besides the fact that my profession has been affected by this, I just, there's not enough people in this world that have the job title in these law enforcement agencies that actually care about the children. I believe he said it well when he wrote that song, and said it when these politicians going to start caring about minors other than minors on an island somewhere. My son is a minor. There's been so many missing children, and I have personal views on these stupid politics. It really affects me. Everybody's up in arms about ICE, this, ICE, that. But nobody wants to, state the fact that, they just rescued 8 children in Southern California. They rescued 8 children. Florida, they turned around and had an operation there, rescued children. Contacted Jacksonville, Florida to find out if my son was in that group.
Oh.
And the detective in Jacksonville, Florida was, you'll need to contact the detective in charge of the case to get any information. Like, this is my son. I'm just wanting to know if you found him. Obviously, Sumner County didn't contact me, but I'm pretty sure Sumner County didn't give a rat's ass about my son because that's what they've done. Jack and Lily in another country had 11 detectives on it. In this county, when my son goes missing, we're going to give you 1. Well, Mr.
Yeah, he sounds quite bitter, doesn't he? But I mean, the thing is, the whole news at the moment in America is all about these ICE raids and everything, isn't it? And they seem that, God, that's all they're talking about. Feels like, doesn't it? These ICE raids and that, which just seem a bit inhuman to me. But anyway, there you go. That's what's happening.
Brandon Carter. Just remember, I have all the text messages that state that you were in court this day, or you're on vacation this day, and all that sort of stuff. And understand that anything you said to me is a lie. I don't trust you as much as I could throw you. And the thing is I wouldn't touch you. You get to go home to your kids. I'm at home. My kid isn't here.
No, well, he wasn't there anyway because he didn't live with you, Seth. But yeah, he's very bitter towards the police and the authorities, isn't he? Very, very bitter. What do you think? Do you think it's true that the police or the authorities haven't done enough, that they've not tried hard enough? Or do you think that Seth he's always been like that right from the beginning, wasn't he? He was saying that the police weren't sharing information with him, etc. And maybe it's true.
But anyways, I mean, they still sleep good at night. But I've seen some of the stuff going around. I started this page so that I could keep everybody up to date with some of the stuff that I could let you know that was going on. I want you to know that I'm still tracking down every tip that comes in, either at night, my own PIs that have the tip line set up. I mean, any of these tips that come in.
Now that at night, intelligence agency that you just mentioned, that's a disgrace, personally, I think. And that, I think, put me off Seth as well when he got involved with them, with Dog the Bounty Hunter and all that. And they're just in it for themselves. They don't care about Sebastian. He has gone, unfortunately, I think, Seth has got sucked into being in with some shady, sketchy bedfellows, like he should just get away from that. They're not doing anything to find Sebastian. Again, they're just doing whatever they're doing for themselves. So he's better, I think, he doesn't need Tony, he doesn't need that night shy private investigation, whatever, run by criminals and being sued left, right, and centre. He doesn't need all that. He's pathos. He's a father with a missing child. That's enough. He doesn't need all that.
And I'm tracking down. I'm working behind the scenes. I appreciate people wanting to start petitions, but a lot of the times I've already got the petition started, and just, if you start another petition, it takes away from the people it takes away from the petition that I started. And a lot of people don't seem to understand that. And I need everybody to be on the same page. And finding Sebastian, I mean, I just do. I am working on Sebastian's law. I told you all I was working on that. I'm working on it. It's to be a federal law, so that it oversees state law. So that way we can actually do something for our children. They're the ones that are going to be taking care of our country, our world, us. Without the children, there's nothing. There will be nothing. If we're not doing this stuff to take care of our children and to protect them from the evil that is out here, then the evil's going to run rampant. And it's not how it needs to go. We should be protecting our children at all costs. Somebody I listen to every once in a while, for those that hurt children, wood chipper. Start with the ankles first, wood chipper. I'm angry, frustrated, I'm tired, and it never ends. And every time I turn on the news or anything of the sort, I just see that there's more and more missing children. That would help me.
And it's true, isn't it? The more you look into truth, I was thinking that today. I was thinking, God, I'm going to have to take a break because, of course, just the way my social media is set up because of the things that I click into, I suppose, and that, I talk about doom scrolling as I'm going down. It's like, one thing after another. And for Seth, he needs to sort of switch off from that sometimes. I don't know how he can do it, but he's got to try and build some sort of psychic shield because it'd be difficult for him, he's bound to just, feel every time he sees about a child going missing, he's going to feel it. It's going to, because he's going through it, he is, at the end of the day, as much as I say, I've not liked some of the things Seth has done, but Sebastian is his son and he's missing, and I'm sure Seth is feeling it really badly, but I think Katie will be feeling it badly as well. So, I feel for both of them.
They find them. It's the best thing in the world for their parents. Because I'm still waiting for mine to be found. It's hard to realize that it's been over a year. won't be much longer, and Sebastian will turn 17. It's not like I took a week and a half and went with somebody else's child down to Florida to go visit Disney, like some other parent.
Yeah, now he starts having a go at Katie because they must have gone to Disney World with Faye. But, you can't blame Katie for doing that. What she's supposed to do? Never, Faye is her stepdaughter, so what's she supposed to do? Are they supposed to never take Faye ever again away on holiday? Or, it is. I do feel for Seth because his situation and Katie and Chris's are completely different. They've got each other and they've got Faye. Seth hasn't got anybody, has he? And now he can tell he's bitter because he's obviously heard that they've gone down to Disneyland and taken Faye. Oh, she's gone with somebody else's child, but so what's she supposed to do? Not go? It's like what is she supposed to do?
It's not apparent, Dave. I hope they're enjoying their ice cream right now. Just in case you think that I don't know what the fuck what you're doing, understand that I got people that let me know what you two are doing.
Hope they're enjoying their ice. Well, why shouldn't they enjoy an ice cream? Do you know it's like what they're never to enjoy an ice cream again, as Seth never had an ice cream since Sebastian went missing. So he's very bitter, isn't it? I personally, I've always felt, I think he's still in love with Katie. I don't think he's ever accepted their relationship ending.
My court's coming up. Are you both going to be there? Is your mama going to breastfeed you on to the court too? Because I'm over your BS. You're nasty. You're disgusting. You don't deserve to be around children. I mean, to tell me that you were going to kick my son out of your house and that maybe he was just going to prove you wrong on that he could live without being underneath your roof is some BS, dude. You should never have said that to my son. You have no right to my son. And I tell you what, the way it's going, Katie, you don't have a right to a child either. I don't know what happened to you. You were not the person I married. You're not even the person I divorced.
You're not the person I married? No, because wasn't she 14 when they started seeing each other? So, Seth shouldn't be saying these things because, people in glass houses, I've seen the divorce papers. He wasn't above hitting Sebastian either, and Katie, threatening her and stuff. I've read the divorce papers. He's not a perfect person himself. So I do think it's unfair what these things that he's saying. Maybe it's true. I don't know. But is it really? So he comes on his YouTube channel and he's having a go at Chris. Why not just phone Chris up and tell him to his face? Why are you doing it on here? I don't understand that. And I wish he wouldn't do that. And that would be what I would have wanted someone like Tony to stop him doing. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a grown man. How can you stop him doing it? But see, he's come on here, Seth, his emotions take over him, don't he? He's come on here. He's probably not come on here to have a go at Chris and Katie. He's come on here to do his, I don't know, his update or whatever. And he's got carried away because once he starts talking about it all, he gets carried away emotionally, which you would. But, this is you. I think it's 20,000 views. So 20,000 people have seen him saying these really slanderous things as he goes on to say. So he should, I recorded this because I thought this might disappear. Because surely Tony should be saying to him, look, you can't go on and accuse Chris and Katie in public like that, and the police, because he goes on to, really have a go at Sheriff Craddock and that. And I agree with you, David. I think maybe just one day when people have not necessarily forgotten about Sebastian, but maybe not thought about him for a little while. I mean, I don't mean Seth, I mean people in general. Just one day, will he just suddenly his remains be found? And I don't mean to be horrible about that. I just can't see that Sebastian could still be alive now. I wish he was, but you just cannot see it. But where is he though? I mean, the best case scenario really is that maybe he was kidnapped and he is living with somebody now.
But if your significant other that you decide to bring into your child's life can't deal with your children, they're not worth your time either. That goes for anybody. If you ever bring somebody else into your life when you have children, you better think about your children first because they're your children. They deserve everything. And your significant other that you're bringing in, unless they're going to sit there and take care of those children and treat them like their own and have understanding and know how to help them develop, it just does your children even worse. I still, like I said, need people to be handing out flyers and stuff.
Yeah, that's what you should be concentrating on, in my opinion, in these lives. Encouraging people. Now he goes on to encourage people to still put out flyers, etc. That's what it should be about. It shouldn't be about slagging off Katie and Chris. I think he's just bitter. I think he's still in love with Katie, and I think he should, remember that she was 14 years old. People could call him some names, that aren't very nice, that begin with P. So people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, should they?
I need more tips coming in. I need more eyeballs looking for Sebastian. I I don't know if any of y'all remember playing telephone when you were younger, but I'm going to share the picture again on my YouTube page. And if I ask people just to hand out 10 flyers, this time I'm going to ask people to take that picture that I put up there of Sebastian's latest. It's the link for this one right here for this show. Sorry, my head is killing me. I mean, the storms today didn't help too much either. But take 10 people in your phone book and just send them the picture and ask them to spread it on to 10 more people.
I think that's a brilliant idea. This is the positive things that he should be doing, not slagging off Katie and Chris. Yeah, send that picture to 10 people that you know and ask them, each one of them, send it to 10 people that they know. That's, things circulate. Just keep Sebastian's name out there, and you never know, it just might one day land in someone's phone who knows something and didn't even know they knew something. Just, at the end of the day, if you don't try it, nothing will happen. It may not help at all, but can't do any harm, can it? Whereas all this sort of slandering Katie and Chris, as far as I'm concerned, that does do harm.
I just need more people to know that my son is missing. I need more people looking for him. I need more people to help me. I see a lot of stuff. And a couple of the pages that I follow on YouTube, they're autistic people.
I'm not actually sure if that's my dog or his dog that's barking there.
Because they're the best people in the world. And I'll tell you right now, there's nothing like an autistic child. Their aspect on life, the view that they have is so distinctive for each person that if you listen to it and you listen to another autistic child, they'll never have the same point of view. They never have the same. They never have the same scope of the same thing. They're looking at the same picture, but they all see something different. And
Oh, that was me.
just want my son home. I'd like to be able to do the things that we were doing. I'd like to have a routine again in my life. But there is no routine without my son because he is my life. But I know that there's some people out there that are working on, they're telling people that they're working on Sebastian's law. Well, I'm working on Sebastian's law. I've got attorneys working on it. I've got.
Yeah, then he brings up this thing, Sebastian's law, and there seems to be some sort of competition. He's saying there's people out there saying they're bringing in Sebastian's law, but I'm bringing it in. It's all competition.
Other people that have been observed it, have read it. If Chris and Katie are watching this, I don't care. I don't care if they're watching. I hope they are watching. I hope they are enjoying the misery that they're putting me through. Because God is my witness, it will return sevenfold. I don't deserve this. Sebastian does not deserve this. And it will come back around. I'd say I'd love to be there for when karma smacks you in the face, both of you.
Yeah, I just don't really get, karma for what? Is he saying that they killed him? Is that literally what he's saying? That he thinks Katie and Chris killed Sebastian and hid his body? Is that what he's saying? It's wrong in my view to say that in public like that. He may think it privately, but say that publicly, I think it's wrong. And he's not the only person who said it. I think it's a horrible thing to say, to be honest, without any evidence. Let's not forget there is no evidence. If there was something acting, I don't know, just something, but there isn't anything, and they supposedly have taken lie detector tests. They've all passed. Just don't understand it, but don't understand why he feels that he's got to say all this.
But I don't care. I really don't. I just want my son. I want my son found, returned home to me so that he can continue on with his life, with how he's going to affect the world. You two don't deserve a child like Sebastian in your life. You guys don't deserve somebody else that's in your life right now. I feel so sorry for that female, that child. Pretty sure she wonders every day if she's gonna wake up and even be there, or ever even get to talk to her mom again.
You know what I mean? It's like, and as he goes on, he gets more and more sort of into it. So now he's saying that Faye, I bet she wakes up every day and wonders if she's even going to be there the next day. So he's not only saying that they've done something to Sebastian, but they might do something to Faye, and that Faye will be worrying about that. So it's not right. Somebody who cares about Seth needs to try and stop him from doing these things.
I know things on the inside of your house that you probably don't want me to know. But I tell you what, we all know that you didn't let a particular organization into your house for a reason. You already got rid of everything in his room, huh? Can't let, America's Most Wanted in the house. Not the last place he was supposedly at, right? Then again, there's no evidence he ever left the house. Is there evidence that he ever made it to the house from Texas Roadhouse? You guys have to live with it. I have to live with the fact of knowing that my son's not here where he should.
So, did you hear what he said then? Did he even leave the Texas Roadhouse? Yvonne, Sebastian went missing not this February just gone, but the February before. And actually, he went missing the same day as Madeline Soto. We've got that case coming up soon, haven't we? They disappeared on the same day, wasn't it? Was it February I don't know if it was 25th, something like that. But they both disappeared on the same day. So now, he's even saying, did he even leave the Texas Roadhouse?
Your house for a reason. You already got rid of everything in his room, huh? Can't let, America's Most Wanted in the house. Not the last place he was supposedly at, right? Then again, there's no evidence he ever left the house. Is there evidence that he ever made it to the house from Texas Roadhouse?
Is there evidence that he ever made it to the house from Texas Roadhouse? It's not right him saying this.
You guys have to live with it. I have to live with the fact of knowing that my son's not here where he should be. I have to live with the fact of knowing that I chose you to be his mother. That's done nothing but bite me.
I've got to live with the fact that I chose you to be his mother. Do you remember she was underage, Seth? God. He needs putting a rein on him because he's not thinking straight, as you say, David. He shouldn't be on there. I chose you to be his mother. Just terrible things saying, not helpful, Seth.
Texas Roadhouse.
How is that helping
You guys
Sebastian?
have to live with it. I have to live with the fact of knowing that my son's not here where he should be. I have to live with the fact of knowing that I chose you to be his mother. That's done nothing but bite me.
Yeah.
Sebastian deserved a better mother than you did, Katie. And all you did was give him the same type of mother you had.
Oh. So then he's bringing up Katie's mother because, of course, Katie was adopted, I think, wasn't she? And her mother, she went in social. It's just horrible, these things. This is when I run out of sympathy for Seth. And, he started off this live and I felt sorry for him and he was, bearing his soul and it must feel horrible. But when he starts saying things like this, I just think that's such a nasty thing to say. Because at the end of the day, for all he knows, he hasn't got any evidence to say any different, Katie has lost her child as well. Just, it's wrong. Yeah, exactly, as well. Saying, I chose you to be Sebastian's mother. Well, where's who you choosing now to be your mother to your child? He's bitter against Katie. He's never got over the fact that she left him for Chris. I've thought that from the beginning. He's still in love with her. Quite often, unfortunately, that's how people respond, by being nasty.
I do apologize for everybody in chat. I don't have any links or anything like that. Please, let's not have any arguments or fightings or anything in chat. It does not do anything. It does not do
Then he asks for no arguments or fights in chat when he's just been saying all those nasty things. He's causing the arguments. It's just, let's not have any arguments in chat. This is where my sympathy just goes downhill for Seth.
Any good to be arguing or fighting in my chat?
No, not in your chat. Just you and Katie and Chris.
Most of this is either my opinion or what I need people to do.
And the thing is, Chris and Katie never, ever talk about him in the same way, do they? Whatever you think of Chris or Katie, they never say these kind of things about Seth. And in fact, Chris said that part of the custody agreement was that they shouldn't badmouth each other, and they have stuck to it.
Hey, if people want to be a Katie supporter or a Chris supporter in my chat, I don't care. Those people.
As I say, they're not Katie or Chris supporters. I'm not a Katie or Chris supporter. I'm a Sebastian supporter. People care about Sebastian. And saying all these things are not good, Seth. Honestly.
They're not worth it. They're not worth the sweat off my back, let alone being aggravated or anything like that. They're just here to cause chaos and trauma, just like Chris and Katie were doing to my son.
He's forgetting what he did to Sebastian.
Maybe you should say that looking in the mirror. That's fine. Any of the mods, you can just block them from my channel.
So he's obviously, we can't see the chat. I didn't watch this live, and there was no chat on the replay. So obviously he's got some trolls in there, and he should just block them. But he's encouraging the nasty things himself. If you don't want people to say nasty things in your chat, you just block them, remove them straight away as soon as they say something. And you don't wind people up. Yeah, he did. But he did, David. You're right. But so did Seth, of course. Seth lifted his hands. That's part of the reason why Katie left him, because of Seth's aggression. That's what he's forgetting.
Tell him to go somewhere else. Then go back to the hate channels. I don't care about it.
Well, this is a hate channel.
I just know that Chris and Katie aren't helping finding Sebastian. I need Sebastian's army to be helping me find Sebastian. I can't take them to court regarding CPS because it has to go through Sumner County. Has to go through Sumner County because I can't even put the CPS reports into a court hearing because I can't. The very beginning, it would have been really nice if Chris and Katie would have been on the same page of finding Sebastian. That's all I cared about.
Well, they were. I mean, does he think people have forgotten? Do you remember when Chris went to see him and asked for them to drop all the things? As far as I can see, the only person who has caused discord between them is Seth. I've never heard Chris say anything terrible about Seth or Katie say anything terrible about Seth. But I've seen Seth so many times saying horrible things about them.
Still all I care about. When I find Sebastian, do you think I'm going to have any contact or conversation with those two? No.
Well, you have to.
There's no reason to.
Yeah, well, you have to. So if you find Sebastian, you're saying if Sebastian is okay and it turns out it's nothing to do with Katie and Chris, you're never going to speak to Sebastian's mum again. It just no, somebody needs to. I know he's going through a lot. He needs somebody to tell him this is not acceptable.
No, I can't release the CPS reports. CPS has already informed my attorney that if I release them, that they will file charges for me releasing them. All it does is it just, if I were to release the CPS reports, I told you all, you guys wouldn't sleep either. It's releasing them won't do me any good. Releasing them won't do Sebastian any good.
No, and this is the other thing he does. He hints that these CPS reports are terrible. Him and Tony have both done that. But it's, you can hint about anything, can't you? But you shouldn't be causing speculation. So all what he was talking about earlier was brilliant, saying about this, sending Sebastian's poster out to 10 of your friends and asking each of them to send it to 10 of their friends. These are positive things. That's all really Seth should be talking about. How to find Sebastian, not just how to, talk about these kind of things. They're to be settled afterwards. If Sebastian is found, and then it comes to any sort of, custody battles, that's the time to talk about all this. Not while he's still missing, I admit.
Just know that I've got other things besides the CPS reports that back stuff up. When I called them a psychopath on that court TV interview, I meant it. I meant it. The things that I have read, the things that I have observed, what I read in these reports, takes a lot for me not to be extremely, extremely mad. Yeah, call me Sean all you want. I don't care if y'all call me Sean.
That's what they call him, isn't it? On the sort of anti-Seth channels, the pro-Chris and Katie channels, they call him Sean instead of Seth, I suppose, to avoid, I don't know, whatever. But it's crackers, all that.
You're calling him, you're screaming somebody's name. You don't get it. Told you all, take all the help I can to find my son. It doesn't matter. I will dance with the devil and show the devil a couple new moves to find my son, because he's all that matters to me. And I pray to God every day that he keeps him safe. I've listened to a lot of stuff come through, and it's pretty bad, in my opinion. The fact is that, it takes more than just me. It takes people in Sumner County to start saying no to the corruption. I mean, when I turned around and I asked both TBI and the FBI to change the pictures on the flyers, and TBI and FBI said, sure, we'll get right on that. Well, the FBI came through. And in 2 weeks, we had new pictures on these flyers. Unfortunately, the TBI hasn't done nothing because they won't do anything unless.
Sorry, I don't know if you remember that, but yeah, the pictures on the flyers originally of Sebastian, they were like when he was, about 8 or something. They weren't recent pictures of him, and now it has been updated. He's Seth's claiming credit for it. Maybe it was because of Seth's pressure. The flyers have been updated with more recent pictures of him.
Sumner County agrees to it. and Sumner County is not agreeing to anything because they don't even track down the tips that they get. And I just don't understand how a community can see what's going on and not the community can't do it, doesn't seem to want to do anything for themselves. Not just for Sebastian. I mean, Sebastian lives in that community and went missing in that community, and the law enforcement agency in that community is so corrupt. And yet nobody's turning around and saying anything about it because the corrupt.
So now he's going to slag off the police, the law enforcement as well. So that's not really helpful either, is it?
Corruption is so thick. What happened to my relationship? Listen, will somebody just, you know what?
Oh, I missed that. He's trying to block that person and he ended up putting it up on the screen. Let's have a look.
I mean, Sebastian lives in that community and went missing in that community, and the law enforcement agency in that community is so corrupt. Tired of it seeing coming up, and up. And yet nobody's turning around and saying anything about it because the corruption is so thick. What happened to my relationship? Listen, will somebody just, you know what?
Blank screen something channel. Sean probably knows what happened to his son Sebastian. Oh, I can't see it because it's to collect off his son. Said what happened to his relationship or something. Does he mean ask him any touchy questions with his son? Like, anyway, I can't read all of it because there's things over it. Blank screen 2. So anyway, it's a troll. I mean, a troll to what they're saying might be true, but let's see if I take the comments off a minute. Only the Sean causes to collect off his son. It's the only time Sean goes live. Sean probably knows what happened to his son Sebastian. Why you haven't asked him any touchy questions with his con something. Only time Sean goes live is to collect off his son. Yeah, so they're a troll. So he should block him. Let me put the comments back up now.
There you go. Tired of it seeing coming up, and up. If somebody sits there and tells you something over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and you continue to believe it, but you're not seeing it, at some point in time, you have to call BS on what they're doing. I don't live in that county. Because I'll tell you right now, if I lived in that county, I would run against that douchebag. I don't like his policies. I don't like what he's doing. He doesn't need a raise. He needs to get himself out there and find my son. Do something. I sent them a letter. Maybe I'll put the letter up on. I literally put a letter to them, an email stating that if you hadn't done And I listed several things. And it's not just on that side, it's on my side. If you haven't tracked these things down for every suspect, then you can't tell me you've done your job. And when I sent that letter to them, they stopped wanting to communicate with me. They want to stop communicating with me, that's fine. But when I'm getting only lies, like they called me in on my son's birthday. My son's birthday, you call me in and give me a line of BS. Okay, it's my son's birthday.
Foraging. Yeah, so he's moaning that they called him in on his son's birthday. Well, he wasn't going to be celebrating it with his son, was he? Because he was missing. They called him in because they wanted to talk about his missing son. He's very down on Sheriff Craddock and all that. I don't know why, and maybe he's got a justified reason to be, but it's not helpful, is it? Just not helpful. And I don't know if you remember. I remember right from the beginning. He was on all these YouTube channels, wasn't he? Oh God, what's that guy? I can't remember their names now. There's that many of them. Dolly Vision. The other guy, oh God, I can't remember his name, bald guy. Anyway, he was on loads of different ones. He fell out with all of them. In the end, they all stopped having him on. That's why he set up his own. The PIs that he had, all the private investigators, Chloe, etc., they all left him because he was so difficult. He's Seth is his own worst enemy. He really is his own worst enemy. And for Katie, when she got together with Seth, she was a child. I bet she soon regretted it after she, been married now. Whatever Chris is or he isn't, and he is a hothead. But I'd rather have someone like Chris, to be honest. At least he's working as well. He works for his family. As Seth's, to me, he's a bit of a deadbeat dad. I don't know. It's Katie and Chris that, Sebastian seemed to have a lot of stuff. He can criticise them. But, he seemed to he lived in a lovely home, and he had, snakes and God knows what, and dogs and puppies and God knows what. And that was Katie and Chris that gave him that, not Seth. Don't know. It's like, anyway, it's not competition. If he gave Sebastian love, that's enough, isn't it? But, yeah. This is just all wrong. And now he's having a go at Sheriff Craddock.
I'm going to listen to you. I listen to what you got to say. But you can't tell me one thing and then do another. Because if that's what you're going to do, well, I'm not going to believe you. I'm not going to believe anything you say because your actions don't back up your words. It's not what you say, it's what you do that matters.
Yeah. It certainly is.
My son matters. Missing children matter. Protecting children matter. And protecting our future by protecting the children matters. And if you can't do those things, you don't deserve to wear that badge that you just so proudly put on your chest and hide behind, Mr. Craddock.
God.
That goes for anybody.
So he's even naming him. I mean, surely this is like slander, what he's saying about Chris, Katie, and Sheriff Craddock. But yeah, he's like a loose cannon, Seth, when he gets going. Oh, just to let you know, it's now very cool, 33 degrees here. So it was 39 degrees a couple of hours ago. But it's 33 degrees. It's too hot.
I need to blow my nose. I'll be right back.
He's gone off to blow his nose. So, yeah. Whew. I don't know. Seth, he's his own worst enemy. He really is. He's got to stop, you know, he's got to stop doing it. He started off okay in the stream, everybody, thing is, people's natural instinct is to feel sorry for him. He's the father of a missing child. But, this behaviour. It's this behaviour, isn't it, that just puts people off him. Puts me off him anyway, bless him. This is like when I go AWOL in a stream and you could just hear me walking around or whatever. There he is, he's back. He's back in the room.
Anyways. Personally, Miss Lisa King with the I hope the trolls can't sleep tonight. Kind of wish that they go to sleep and possibly don't wake up tomorrow. And then they can sleep forever in their troll-induced,
Oh my God, now that's not very nice. Now, we all know trolls are annoying, of course, but we should be praying for trolls because they are pretty sad people, really, aren't they? But did you hear what he just said? He said maybe if they went to bed and didn't wake up in the morning. Seth, come on, you've got to stop this.
Anyways. Personally, Miss Lisa King with the I hope the trolls can't sleep tonight. Kind of wish that they go to sleep and possibly don't wake up tomorrow.
I mean, what a thing to say. Go to sleep and possibly don't wake up tomorrow. So this is Seth who's saying to everybody, no arguments in the chat. I'm such a lovely person. These are all horrible people saying things like that. Seth, it's not good.
Yeah. And then they can sleep forever in their troll-induced world. But the trolls don't make me lose any sleep. They don't make me gain anything either. What the trolls don't realize is that I don't care about them. I care about my son, and he's the one missing. I just put on chat so I can see what's going on. I appreciate all the hearts and everybody, but seriously, let's play the game of telephone. Let's see if we can, 10 people out of your phone, if we can send them Sebastian's flyer and then have them send it over to 10 more people. Wow. Some of these people, Craddock and Carter are doing an amazing. You can't even spell his name correctly. So you don't know, and you're right. It's a D-I-C-K. It's Craddock, But that's not how you spell his name, Joe Mama. So why don't you, Joe Mama? And I only had him 4 days out of the month. I had him 4 days every other week. I had him every other weekend, okay? And some of you people just don't seem to understand that with my work, I am off every other weekend. So every other weekend when I had him, I wasn't at work. Y'all are fools. Some of y'all can't even get their information right. And we're going to put an end to that. Sure will. I got a lawsuit coming up soon. And hope you're there, Chris. I hope your mom is there too. Uh, I hope you bring your wife, bring your whole family, because I need a picture of your whole family so I can go ahead and make sure I got all the reports for your family. Because
Now, I don't know if Chris came in his chat then, and that's why. So he suddenly started on this tirade. I got a lawsuit coming up, blah, 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 and it's all about Chris now.
believe me, I have reports on your family. But I'll tell you right now, it doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter. Y'all did something to my son. Too many comments has come out of your mouth, Chris.
You did something to my son. He's accusing him on YouTube. I mean, this, that's not right, is it?
That states otherwise. Well, if I wish I had known that before this happened. What do you mean you wish you had known this before this happened, Chris? Conversations that go on between me and my son are between father and son, not father and son and some douchebag that his mother married. You had nothing to do with my son being conceived, born, breastfed, raised, or anything.
Oh God, he's making me feel ill now. The things he's saying. I bet Katie wishes, apart from the fact obviously it resulted in Sebastian, who now is missing. I bet she rues the day that she ever met this man and got involved with him. What? Just horrible what he's saying. Let's listen again.
I have reports on your family. But I'll tell you right now, it doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter. Y'all did something to my son. Too many comments has come out of your mouth, Chris, that states otherwise. Well, if I wish I had known that before this happened. What do you mean you wish you had known this before this happened, Chris? Conversations that go on between me and my son are between father and son, not father and son and some douchebag that his mother married. You had nothing to do with my son being conceived, born, breastfed, raised, or anything else. All you did was invade his life and make it a living hell, which I'm kind of finding you do for a lot of people. But then again, birds of a feather flock together. So, all the information and stuff that I have received about your family, not just your mother and her current husband, man, those ties must run real deep in Sumner County for all the things he's been charged of and never went to jail for. Same thing with your mother. I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of you.
So the whole family's getting it in the neck now. The mom, the dad, all of them. Just, maybe it's true. I don't know, but it's just not right, is it?
Your mother, not scared of your stepfather. I'm not scared of anybody in your family. Y'all can show up at my house at any point in time. I'll step outside. And I'll beat where my son's is out of you. Because I know that you have something to do with it, Chris.
I don't know. Do you think he's been drinking? I've wondered that before about Seth. Has he been drinking or something? Because this is just not the right thing to say. So he's now saying to him, "Oh, come, I'll step outside with you. I'll beat it out of you. I'll beat the truth out of you." It's not right, Seth. Sorry.
For all the things he's been charged of and never went to jail for. Same thing with your mother. I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of your mother. I'm not scared of your stepfather. I'm not scared of anybody in your family. Y'all can show up at my house at any point in time. I'll step outside. And I'll beat where my son's is out of you.
I'll beat where my son is.
Because I know that you have something to do with it, Chris. I know that you have something to do with it because of the stuff that you've said to me.
So he knows he's had something to do with it. So there's stuff. It looks like he was popping some pills or something. Maybe he's taking some, I don't know, tranquilizers and having a drink at the same time. He's definitely, just a loose cannon at the moment.
Things that you have opened your mouth and stated on YouTube interviews, on regular interviews. You guys are so fake. I understand that you don't care about Sebastian. I understand that you don't care about me. But I care about Sebastian, and he should be with me right now. He should have been in school. He should be enjoying his vacation. He should be enjoying his summer vacation right now. I should have landed so many fish with him on the river that it would have been ridiculous. He should be out there with his... He should have dropped his first deer this year. There's a lot of...
He should have dropped his first beer this year. What if he didn't want a beer? Do you know what I mean? It's like, he's... all of a sudden he wants to be father of the year, but I don't know that he was that when he actually was with Katie.
Things that I'm missing doing with my son right now. But like I said, I'm also working on Sebastian's Law. It's to update the Amber Alert system. It's to make sure that there's proper communication in between law enforcement agencies when a child goes missing. It's to make sure that there is a national database that every law enforcement agency and every social service or child agency will be able to submit information and be able to pull up information. That way, people can't sit there and go from one state to another state and run away from child protective services. Because that stuff doesn't follow you like an arrest record or whatnot. It's not too broad. What it is that the Amber Alert system and stuff of that sort are state-based. So if we can turn around and institute the law to make it a federal law, then we can turn around and it becomes a federal mandate, not a state mandate. So while you got CPSs and things going on, if we got federal mandates over it, then we have federal mandates over it. And that's what I would truly like, is I would like, there needs to be an oversee. It's at the same point in time that CPS failed my son for not contacting me and putting me right in the middle so I know what's going on, then they failed. There's been so many problems with DCS and CPSs at the state level because they're all state level. They're all state level, and that doesn't need to be just state level. They need to have overall communication from state to state. If a child goes missing in Tennessee, the Amber Alert should be for Tennessee and for the surrounding states. And then at the same point in time, there should be communication between every police department within that state. Within that state that states that, hey, this child is missing. When Sebastian went missing and I got a tip about somebody that was all dressed in black, walking barefoot down the road, and it was brought to me from somebody on Facebook. When I called up Lebanon, they had no idea that my son was missing. They did not know.
Well, that's quite a tip, wasn't it? If someone saw somebody dressed all in black with no shoes on walking down the road, that sounded just like Sebastian. But of course, we don't know. We don't know. But I thought an Amber Alert was nationwide. But anyway.
There had already been an Amber Alert, which I didn't even get an Amber Alert on my phone for my own son. So when I called Lebanon and they didn't know that my son was missing, that's a problem. That's a problem in the very it's a problem in the communication of information. Law enforcement in one agency in one county should be communicating with another county. Sumner County, you don't like Davidson County, where I work. That's a problem. So you don't like them and they don't like you.
Yeah, so what the hell is this he's talking about? Davidson County doesn't like Sumner County. You know, it's almost as if he's saying that because he works for Davidson County, that's why he's getting treated badly by Sumner County. You know, it's just surely that's not true. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is true, but it just seems what you know. How is that helping in finding Sebastian? You know, how? How? Somebody tell me how. Weird. The whole thing is weird.
My son's missing. He doesn't give a shit. You know, if I don't like my neighbor and his kid goes missing, I'm going to help him find his kid. Why? Because that's what neighbors do. That's what a community does. They come together and find the problem and fix the problem. And if I scream until the end of my days and these problems don't get fixed, then I messed up somewhere. But I'm going to fight every minute, every second that I can to get stuff changed for the benefit of my son and for other missing children out there.
Okay.
I don't know where you are, son, but I'm not done looking. I'll never be done looking.
Yeah.
There's
Now,
no enjoyment in this life for me anymore.
that's what you know. No enjoyment in this life for me anymore. This is it. That's when I feel sorry for Seth. Of course, it's difficult what he's going through. His son's missing, and it must be awful. And he's on his own. He's dealing with it on his own. You know, I just don't know what to say. But I just think those other things about when he starts raging on about Chris and Katie and the police and everything, it's just not helpful. Just not helpful. Bless him. Don't know what he should be doing, but you know, not doing that.
All my enjoyment disappeared. And it's not fair to him. I'm going to find him. I've already started a petition for the FBI. I've been in contact with Marsha Blackburn's office. I am attempting to, I've been asking for them to help set me up an appointment for the FBI. If I have to walk to DC for the appointment, I will. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'll walk to the ends of the earth to find my son. Anything that I can do to push it on to get him, because this shouldn't be going on. I appreciate everybody, Sebastian's army. I appreciate you all. We find Sebastian's going to have a lot of people to say thank you to. I have a lot of people to say thank you to, because I tell you what, some of y'all have actually talk to me on a regular basis. Some of y'all in chat.
Yeah, that's better. Say something positive. And the thing is, I wonder if Seth watched. I really thought this video was going to disappear, which is why I recorded it, because I thought, oh God, he's not going to leave this up, because that is total slander, a lot of the things he says. But I wonder if he watched it back, or, you know, if I was Seth's friend, you know, if I knew Seth, or if I was like Tony Maroney, like the bloody phony Tony, supposed to be his media guru, I'd be saying to him, get that video off, or edit it at least. Take out those horrible bits.
I don't know. I don't tell you all a lot, but there's some things I just, when there's more bad than there is good, you kind of just keep the bad to yourself.
But Seth, you don't keep the bad to yourself. That's the whole problem. You're the one saying all the bad things about everybody else. Nobody's saying bad things about you.
Because it doesn't do any good. You know, cognizant crime. Kyron, that's the lady. I can't remember from what state, but that's the lady that her son went missing from school, right? But that's the little boy that went missing from school when the stepmother dropped him off, right? Yeah, I've seen some of her stuff. She won't stop looking. I give her nothing but from kudos, because you don't you don't understand what it takes every day to get up and know that your only goal is to find your son. And then there's days that when I wake up, I don't hear from anybody. I hear from nobody. Nothing comes in, no information comes in, and it's so frustrating. Because I know that somebody somewhere out there knows where my son is. I just gotta find him. I just gotta find Sebastian. He is the goal. He will always be the goal. When we find Sebastian, then the goal is to make sure that we help all the other children. You know, a lot of people want to sit there and talk about, oh, you did a nonprofit. Yeah, well, you know what? My nonprofit was thought up a long time ago. My nonprofit was to be as like a facility of sorts to help autistic children with using animal therapy. Autistic children normally love animals. So you put them around animals and you get them to understand what the animal's feeling, and then you blossom the idea of helping the animals, and then the child will take that blossom and flower. My son was a perfect example. He loved watching things grow. He loved taking care of animals.
Now he's talking about him in the past tense, but I think that's probably by now, this stage, that's perhaps be difficult not to talk about Sebastian in the past tense. You know, as it's gone well over a year now. We're looking at a year and a half now, that more or less, that Sebastian's been missing. He's got to be somewhere. You know, people, you know, he hasn't been beamed up to the Starship Enterprise. He is somewhere.
I just wish that he was here so I could take care of him. I'm sorry. been a really long week. It's been a long year. It's been a long 17 months now, 16 months.
Yeah.
I'm losing track. I'm losing count. Still feels like it's just one long day. It's been one long day. One long, never-ending nightmare of a day. And in a civilized world, we're not allowed to do what we want to do. Because if we could do what we wanted to do, I wouldn't have any internet access, that's for sure. You guys wouldn't see me here. But it is what it is. I can't change what's happened. I can only change what I do. And
So again, he's sort of threatening, isn't he? Is that what he was saying there? If he could do what he wanted to do, he wouldn't have any internet access. Does it mean he would go to prison because he would do something?
all I'm going to do is keep looking for Sebastian. So please continue to help pass out flyers. I need these tips coming in. And, these tips are what's keeping me moving, and I appreciate it. Thank you again, Sebastian's Army. Thank you for tuning me in on a Sunday night. I want you all to be blessed. And if I can't sleep, I need you all to get sleep for it. Y'all have a wonderful night. I got it.
Oh, okay. So that's it. So the thing is, Seth, he's obviously very lonely as well, isn't he? He's lonely, mate. He was tired. He was fraught. He said he'd had a long week. Wasn't the time to go on a live, really, was it? And it reminds me of back in the early days, like Seth was definitely using YouTube as almost like a counsellor, wasn't he? Going on all these different YouTube channels and saying too much, and now he's just done it again, in my opinion. But I do think he's probably lonely. He hasn't got anyone to turn to. But maybe there's a reason for that. I don't know. But anyway, I just thought you might be interested in us going through that together. We haven't talked about Sebastian for so long, and not because I don't want to talk about Sebastian, just because there has been no proper news, has there? It's just been all these arguments between YouTubers and court cases and God knows what. So that wasn't even really news, was it? That Seth had no updates. But I think the one positive thing that came out of that live that he did is this idea of, sending Sebastian's poster to 10 people and asking each of them to send it to another 10 people that they know. So, but I'm going to take this off now because these headphones, they're hot on your ears. It's 32 degrees now. Temperature gradually coming down from 39 degrees that it was earlier. Oh, my ears hurt now. Look. Oh, my ears are all. So, okay. I'm going. Thank you for caring about Sebastian. Let me put my banner on. Don't forget, please, 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 don't forget to like and don't forget to subscribe. They're the most important things you can do for my channel. But another important thing you can do is take care. And I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, let's have the candle up for Sebastian. We don't know what's happened to Sebastian. I think it's unlikely that he's still alive. But you know what? You never know. You've always got to have hope. So I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, As always, may your God go with you. Take care.